Hi, I'm Yannick Hanfman.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Olfner.
It's Marc-Andrea Whistler.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the GTL
podcast.
Hopefully you enjoy it.
Hopefully. Novak Djokovic comes in, he steals the title, he wins the 23rd Grand Slam. He's the first guy in history to win 23 Grand Slams.
Alcaraz is going to win Roland Garros this year. He wants to be the greatest player. He wants to emulate some of the big goats of the game. I think Iga's going to win Roland Garros and win it back to back. It doesn't happen often.
Iga Swiatek, who's going to be picking up her third, and in the men's, Daniel Medvedev.
Rude winning Roland Garros. Ostapenko is going to get her second Roland Garros title.
Carlos Alcaraz is going to win the men's side. Iga Swiatek is going to win on the women's.
Daniil Medvedev and Jessica Pegula will bring home the trophies this year.
Novak Djokovic clinching his 23rd. And then on the women's side, we're going for Ostapenko.
On the women's side, been on fire, has won titles on every surface. Her name is Elena Rybakina. And on the men's, Carlos Alcaraz will win his first French Open.
Novak Djokovic is the 2023 Roland Garros champion.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It's been a massive day of tennis at Roland Garros. We've had the big guns. They've been out on court, and all the matches today, bar a couple, have been pretty one-sided. So we're starting to see some dominant forces coming through in the second week. And this could be a dynamite second week that we're in store for. The big names are on collision course, aren't they, JG?
Yeah, and the big talking point from today is Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic won in dominant fashion. And it was quite fascinating, really. It was the exact same scoreline. Alcaraz took about 20 minutes longer than Djokovic did, but it was 6-3, 6-2, 6-2. And Alcaraz played Musetti, so it was a tougher opponent than Varillas for Djokovic. But still, the exact same scoreline. And we covered both matches on the live watch-along. So thank you, everyone who joined us today. If you haven't, go check out some of our in-play commentary. It was electric commentary for electric tennis. And I'm going to go straight into it, Ben. Who impressed you more, Alcaraz or Djokovic?
Wow. I thought I was super impressed by Novak Djokovic, and then I saw Carlos Alcaraz. And I think that it started well, and we just thought, wow, Djokovic has really taken this match by the horns, so to speak. And Varillas didn't even look like, it wasn't even competitive, was it? I mean, no. He sort of came into it a little bit at the end of the set, but he got broken early. It was Novak's
best match by a distance. I thought he was amazing. And watching that one first, like you said, I was then starting to get a little bit worried. I was starting to think, okay, this guy's going to win this whole Roland Garros. He looks consistent. He looks in the zone. Fitness-wise, he seemed a lot better than what he had done in the previous matches. The serve was going very well. I know Gary, that's been a big concern of his. And then we saw Carlos Alcaraz. And what he did was a little bit different. It was super aggressive, massive ball striking, crazy agility, drop shots. It was a different kind of match to the Djokovic one. Djokovic really impressed me. But then when I saw Alcaraz, I would say I was more impressed because he played a style of play which I honestly think is unplayable. And I don't know, it doesn't matter who he plays. If he can play like he did against Musetti right now, today, I don't know anyone who stops him. Not even Djokovic, not even a Rafael Nadal at Roland Garros. It was simply that good.
Some of the shots he hits are so hard, and he puts everything into every single rally. I mean, we were just in awe a bit of the way that he was from the baseline. Then he was at the net. Then he was back to the base. He just goes... He always chases down every ball to the last second. Even when he sort of knows that he can't get to it, he still chases it down just to prove I was that close to getting that. Just so you know, for your next shot, you better hit the line or you better put me away because that's coming back. And it kept coming back. And Musetti looked a bit like a broken man by the end. He didn't know what to do. And I think he's put to bed now, Alcaraz, that last defeat to Musetti in that Hamburg final, where it was very close. this one wasn't close at all. And Musetti from the early break, where I thought, wow, he's going to really take Alcaraz on today. It wasn't close at all. But credit to Carlos Alcaraz. I mean, I'm worried for Djokovic. I'm not going to lie. I still feel Djokovic has a really good opportunity, though, and he poses something completely different. But that's not even on the menu yet. As we know, there's still one match separating both of them from that.
But it feels real. After today, it was the first
yeah.
moment of this tournament where you've started to think, okay, they're one step closer. And as you've put in the thumbnail, it's starting to heat up, this Roland Garros, because they're on a collision course. And I find it very, very difficult. It just seems very impossible that they're not going to meet. I feel like it's written in the stars, and that seems like a bit of a final before the final. But let's get up some tweets. And who do you want to start with? Alcaraz?
Let's start with the first match of the day, because it was Djokovic who was playing first. So obviously, Novak Djokovic coming into this match, there had been a few questions. I think I was probably a bit harsh on the way that I was speaking about him during the Fokina match. I said that in the match earlier today. I think it was unnecessarily harsh because he always builds as he goes through the tournament. And in this match, he was playing somebody, I would say, on a lesser caliber than a Fokina. So it did appear easier. I think Varillas actually played quite well in small spells, but it just was nowhere near like the
good shots, but not as a collective match. He was nowhere near him. And Djokovic looked very compact and resilient and
clinical.
Bitch in the flow state, very flow state Djokovic, who beats everyone, quite frankly, in Grand Slams. And look at this. He's a record breaker after today because that's his 17th Roland Garros quarter final. I think that does put him one higher than the Dow. There was some of the Dow fans fighting back saying, who cares? He's won it 14 times, bigger than that. And what does he say here? Serve and serve +1 worked great. His best match of the tournament faces Khachanov next, head-to-head 8-1. Important to know, to mention Khachanov, who also beat Lorenzo Sonego today.
Yes.
Another Italian. We had the other Lorenzo going up to Alcaraz, and both of them out, the Italians. So the Italian's having a bit of a dodgy day.
Yeah.
Khachanov has been doing excellent in slams. He's reached semi-finals, quarter-finals in all of the last slams. Of course, Wimbledon he was unable to play. But now, going into this one, I don't give him a chance in hell. The head-to-head 8-1, the one he did win was one of the early matches they played in Paris in a final. And I see more of the same. Maybe he could get a set, but at the very best, I think it's 4 sets Djokovic.
Yeah, I feel that it's a very lopsided head-to-head. But like you say, we have to get credit to Khachanov.
He's been the real consistent player in Grand Slams this last year and a half.
Yeah. He's been to the semi-finals of the last 2, and he wasn't allowed to play Wimbledon, but the last time he played that, he made the quarterfinals as well. So he's good on all surfaces and consistent as well. You don't get to those sort of levels of slams without good, consistent tennis. And he's been, other than Medvedev, I'd say the standout Russian. Rublev's sort of gone down the pecking order a bit when it comes to Grand Slam tennis.
Monte Carlo, but certainly in Grand Slams, he's nowhere near it.
Yeah, exactly right. So Novak Djokovic will be facing Khachanov next. And there was this tweet as well for Djokovic, which came out. It's the big 3 on Twitter, saying Djokovic just needs to just pretend this is a hard court and step on the gas offensively. In a match against Alcaraz, he isn't winning if he plays defensively.
I like this tweet because I agree with it 100%. I feel the way Djokovic looked today was very compact and resolute, and was someone who was willing to suffocate Varillas. He's not going to suffocate Alcaraz. He's able to get out of that quite comfortably. He has sheer power, baseline to baseline. I only see one winner. Djokovic needs to try and play ultra aggressive tennis. Whether that means he comes to the net a little bit more, he mixes up his game. He's got to try something different. He can't afford to play any safe points against Carlos Alcaraz because they will be dispatched. Of course, we are talking hypothetically as well. Yeah. They're not even playing. We've still got some matches in between. Alcaraz is going to be playing Stefanos Tsitsipas, which I'm sure we can maybe talk about now.
Yeah.
Because Alcaraz in the media, the press conference was very comedic. It wasn't intentionally comedic, but I found it very funny. I know you was laughing as well at it.
Yes, exactly right.
The head-to-head between the two of them is so lopsided. I don't know if you want to bring up the graphic.
I'll bring up the graphic now. Here we go.
So this is Bianca, friend of the podcast, someone we're going to get on the commentary very soon. So shout out to her. And the head-to-head currently 4-love to Alcaraz. And in the press conference, he was like, Steph is a really good player. He didn't know it was going to be Tsitsipas. He was trying to be respectful of Offner. So I've never played Offner, but of course Offner lost very easily, straight sets, like I thought he would.
Yeah, sad.
And he was like, yeah, Tsitsipas, really good player. It's going to be such a tough match. But I've never lost to him, ever. And his style of play really suits me. So, in other words, he's a good player, but he can't touch me.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Well, the stats don't lie, do they? And I feel the one thing that Alcaraz does when he plays against Steph is he just plays upon all of the weaknesses that he knows that Steph hates, like the style he hates to play, the drop shots, the movement around the court. And when Steph's head goes down in those matches, I don't think they ever go back up again. And he always like capitalizes on Steph's like mental vulnerability. He doesn't have that same vulnerability, Carlos. He always has self-belief. He always believes he can come back if he's down. I don't think it's the same for Tsitsipas. Once he's down, a lot of the times he's out, and that's the problem. And that's why everybody's talking about Carlos Alcaraz as the favourite for Roland Garros and not Tsitsipas, despite him being to a final before.
Yeah, exactly. And it is going to be a good match. But I just see it being a very one-sided one. And it could be pretty much identical to what we saw with Lorenzo Musetti today, where it's one-way traffic and Tsitsipas not having any answers. So looking here at the top half for me is where it's at, because I think we are going to see the winner from one of these 4 names. And you can probably cut that down to 1 of 3. But there is a lot of noise for, of course, Holger Rune. And I know there's another tweet mentioning the fact that there's only 3 real contenders left, being Alcaraz, Djokovic, and Rune. But just looking at this one here, so there we go. Yeah, only 3 players I see winning the event: Alcaraz, Djokovic, Rune. I did do a poll on our channel. I'm not sure if we've seen the results yet, but maybe we'll look at them towards the end of the video. And I included these 3, and then the other option was just other, because I do believe that Rune is a real contender along with the others. But yeah, I think the winner will come from Alcaraz Djokovic, that matchup.
It's more than likely, isn't it? Will Tsitsipas come and surprise everybody? He has the ability. It's just whether he puts it all together. That's the thing. We know he's got quality. It's just the mental side of his game where he lacks, and the willingness to run around to try and get back out of losing positions. And I'm not sure if he has that in a 5-set match against Alcaraz. Alcaraz has just so much desire on the court. But there's some other good tweets regarding Alcaraz as well. We got this one. He was saying, I feel loved when I go out on the court. I don't know whether the fans are Raffas and they've moved on to me, but I do feel the love every time I step on the court. And I think he deserves all the love, like especially when he plays the way he's playing today. How can you not love the guy? Because he's so exciting.
He's very humble with it too. The Roland Garros team did, it was during like a media hour or so, they interviewed some of the players, and he was part of this sort of collaboration of clips. And the question was, have you ever received special treatment for being famous? Like, and what was it? So everyone, Djokovic was there, where he had a card. He was like, yes, I have. And he explained what it was. He's got upgraded plane tickets, or there was loads of different people doing it. And Alcaraz was the only player who said, no, never. He's never, ever received anything because of his status as a celebrity. He said, I'm not even famous. He said, not yet. I'm not famous yet.
I think he's pretty famous.
Yeah, I think he is, but I feel like he just generally has this attitude that he's just a boy playing tennis, doesn't do anything he loves. And that's what makes me warm to him so much, because you can see how much passion he has for the sport. You can see how much passion he has to chase down every single ball. And honestly, I'll go as far to say, without him, I would not be as encouraged with the future of tennis. He is my real sort of saving grace at the moment for the future. With Rafa on the verge of retiring, without Carlos, I would be a little bit lost.
Yeah, he's definitely giving
So maybe
people...
he's right with this tweet, with what he said.
Well, it was interesting as well that this one came out. This match today came out, and I saw a tweet earlier that said it was actually a year ago today that we had the Nadal-Zverev match as well, which was epic, as we remember. And it was showing some of the highlights of that. And I just thought, wow, I mean, some of those winners from Nadal and Zverev in that match, that was one of the best matches of the year for me.
It was
and
good.
it was difficult to think, like, how do we recreate? Like, obviously Rafa's not there, Zverev hasn't been in the same form. Are we still going to get somebody to step up and produce that type of tennis again? And he's stepping up. And that's
Alcaraz, Djokovic. That's all
Yeah.
you can say. 2 words, I feel. That's the only match we're going to see some kind of godly ability. And if we do get it, it's going to be a match I cannot wait to see. I'm so fascinated to see how Djokovic approaches it. Of course, I think it's going to be competitive. I don't care how good our Carlos Alcaraz is. Djokovic in the slam, another level altogether, and he's going to make it tough for him. But I just want to see how far he's going to push him. And yeah, can't wait. Really, really good match. Make sure to join us for it if we do get it in the semis.
Yeah, I hope so. I just remember their last match. Their last match was so intriguing, and how close it was as well. It was brilliant. Let's go on to some of these other tweets as well. There was another one regarding Juan Carlos Ferrero here. Do you want to take us through that one?
Yeah, so Fabrice said, I want to pay tribute to someone special in your box. Carlos said, he's my friend and coach. I can say he's my father as well. We played juniors, futures, challengers. I'm grateful to have him outside the court, growing as a person with him. And they've got such a good relationship. He is very fortunate to have him. I was looking through, Roland Garros posted a few images as well of the boys champions over the years. We had Tommy Paul 1 year. There was Ons Jabeur, Elena Svitolina, of all the different years attached to them. Recently, who was it? We had Leila Fernandez and...
Van Ascher won it recently as well.
Van Ascher. And... yeah, and his coach here, Juan Pablo Ferreira, he actually finished... Juan Carlos Ferreira, sorry. He finished... that's why I've done it, because of Varillas. But he finished second as a junior. He has all the experience at this level. And I feel he's just got such a good relationship. Like Carlos says, he treats him like a father. It's a fatherly figure to him. And he was there from the very beginning when he was 15 years old, when he was playing in these challenger events, when we was watching him.
Yeah.
So he's seen the whole journey. He believed in him then. He's been with him time and time again. They train a lot of the time in Austria, I believe, which is quite windy. And that is what he was saying about how the windy conditions didn't really faze him at all. He felt very comfortable in that wind.
Yeah, I remember when he had that windy match against Nadal as well in the Indian Wells. That was a very intriguing matchup between the two to see how the conditions and how he handled them. Seemed to be playing pretty well in those conditions as well. Yeah, especially against someone as good as Rafa. But yeah, Juan Carlos Ferrero, one of the greats, Roland Garros champion 2003. So no better person to have in your corner, especially you remember seeing them embrace when he turned up at that tournament before, and then he came running to him, and it's like almost out of a movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, they generally do love each other. I don't think it's for the cameras.
No.
And he was tearing up during it as well. So great relationship they've got. And I think it does help having that steady relationship. Maybe Raducanu could learn something.
Most definitely, yeah. She's going through some of the new coach as well. I haven't had time to report on that. Let's have a look at how they've got on. This is the Djokovic and Alcaraz so far in Roland Garros, up to the quarterfinal, and you can see there Djokovic has won all in straight sets, 12 sets out of 12, and won 76 games in total. And Carlos Alcaraz only dropped the 1 set, so 12 out of 13 sets, and has won 76 games as well. So couldn't be much closer so far. Look at that, like they're holding hands there. Nice image, isn't it?
Yeah, that game's one's stupid, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really move. But
Because
it's
everyone's going to win 76 games to get to this stage.
Well, not necessarily with 7s and 6s.
Yeah, but pretty much. It's not going to be in much between them.
It's going to be close, isn't it?
It would have been better to have done games conceded, but I'm assuming Alcaraz won that one. That's why Paviji didn't report it.
I'd like to see points would be more interesting. Points won. But,
yeah, no, but the games conceded makes more sense than games won as a stat. But I'm assuming the reason he didn't do it is because Alcaraz won that. But I don't know because I've not worked it out, and I'm not going to work it out right now either. But like you said, very similar paths, very similar results. The only difference is I think Djokovic has played better Alcaraz has played better from the start to finish, but Djokovic certainly round 4, he's hitting his flow state. He's looking good.
I think that we'll let him off the first few rounds because he normally does this and he normally just starts warming up. And let's take into consideration the age difference between the two as well. Maybe that's why Alcaraz can start off so fast. So Djokovic like Diesel, wasn't that Stan Wawrinka's nickname?
Yeah.
Just takes a bit of time to get going, but once he's going, won't stop him, hopefully. But this one's a good one. Also, Lorenzo Musetti speaking out about losing to Carlos Alcaraz. Said today, Alcaraz showed he probably could win the tournament. That's from the man who he beat.
Yeah, high praise from someone who was in ridiculous form coming into this match, and we was thinking maybe it's going to go 4 or 5. He didn't really handle the occasion too well, but then the first set I thought he played really well, but just didn't get an opportunity, and ultimately come against someone who was in inspired form, and whatever he did wasn't going to be enough.
I'm sure they'll meet again on the clay, especially. Yeah. That's the thing. That's
I think they're probably on the hard courts as well. Musetti's developing his overall game.
Yeah. At the moment, I feel like he's the most dangerous, obviously, on the clay. But yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But anyway, I'll just see what other ones we've got here. This one was a little trick, I believe. Are we allowed to show it or are we not?
Yeah, you can show it. It's quite funny.
All right. I'll have it here.
I don't know how he does it. I just thought he's so talented. Look at this. I've never seen something like it. Have you? I thought it was fake at the start. No, have a watch of it again. How he's spinning it round.
That's a bit crazy.
Go to the middle. There we go. From here, it's better.
It's almost like they've just put it on repeat or something.
Yeah, no, this is real. He actually did that. I'm going to have to try it next time on a tennis court. I'll keep you updated, guys, how it goes.
Yeah, please do. I won't try it. Just I don't want to injure anybody in and around the court.
I don't think you can do 2 rotations.
No, just the one will do for me, I think. Right, but that is pretty much our summary of the men's today.
Yep.
Obviously, Tsitsipas won against Offner in straight sets as well, so that's why we've got those 4 at the top. The other ones will take place tomorrow. We had the women's today. We're going to speak about Svitolina, and we'll speak about Sabalenka, and then we'll just go through the others just at the end, if that's okay. Perfect. So let me just bring up the Svitolina tweet. There you go. And I had one eye on this match today, just while we were watching. I think it was the Djokovic one. And great to see Gael Monfils, obviously, in the stands, looking so proud the whole time and trying not to be too emotional. You can see him. He's trying to not roar or do anything crazy until the end. And that must be difficult to hold it all in because you see she's always looking over there and he's always like, oh, come on. Yeah.
I think he gave her a lot of strength today. She spoke about it in a press conference or sort of on-court interview. And she was saying how emotional she was and how being from Ukraine, of course, they don't have a slam in Ukraine, but she felt like she was French today because what happened is she had all of Monfils' fans there cheering her on as if she was a French woman. And we don't have anyone from France left in the draw apart from her. She's treated like someone from France, which is amazing. She spoke a little bit of French. She's tweeting in French as well. She's really embracing the whole French vibe and culture, and they're getting behind her big time. And I wasn't expecting her to win today. It was another matchup with Ukraine and Russia and all of them tensions. I don't think there was a handshake towards the end of the match.
There was an acknowledgement at the end of the match. Like they'd already spoken beforehand, and then Kasatkina just gave her a thumbs up.
Yeah.
So that's nice anyway.
Yeah, Kasatkina is someone who has spoken up quite a bit, and she's been very brave. But yeah, less about all of the politics. You can research that in your own time. I thought she was outstanding tennis-wise, and she is a player, as we know, when she is firing, she's a top 3, top 4, top 5 player, definitely in that conversation.
Sure, yeah.
She's really good, but it's not easy. She's just had a kid to then come back to tennis. We can't appreciate what that's like, but being a mother now, coming back, playing tennis, I think she's an inspiration for so many other mums out there who want to go back to playing tennis. And yeah, I was really proud that she was able to get it over the line because it's a tough opponent. And Kasatkina is another one who won the juniors. So and not too long ago, she won the juniors at Roland Garros as well.
And she was in great form. She just knocked out like one of the young stars of the tournament, Bagel and Breadstick. That was Stearns. So I was thinking, wow, she's in incredible form. And Svitolina, she's now equaled her best at Roland Garros with this. So she's got to the quarterfinal 3 times before. And now she's got to the quarterfinals this year. And coming back onto the tour, we saw her in Awareness on her comeback one where she was still like finding her feet. And then she won a tournament in the next tournament, which is incredible to go from just one comeback tournament, wins another tournament. Now she's in the quarterfinals of a slam. What an incredible comeback. I mean, that's quick.
And Towson beat her that day, and she's already out of Roland Garros. So, it was a great event to go to. We've had Offner, Svitolina. It was just building up perfectly for Roland Garros. They was all there, and they're all doing very well, the Awareness crew.
That's it.
But moving on to the other match is Sabalenka, and that is going to be her opponent now. So it doesn't get much tougher than that. But let's talk about Sabalenka before we go into the press conference. I want to talk about her match today. What went on? What went on with her? She was 5-love up after 17 minutes. She then got pegged back to 5-all, and I thought from that moment Sloane Stephens was going to win the set.
Yeah.
She then went up, Sloane Stephens, in the tiebreak, went to tiebreak, and she was up, I think, 4-2. And from that position, I thought then she's got this wrapped up. She got all the way to 5-4, serving for it, lost both serves, and then Saba held. So it was a really topsy-turvy set, but Saba got the job done, and she showed spells of brilliance. She's still not dropped a set. She's been looking very good up until she lost her 5-love lead. Yeah. But one thing it did show me is there is a lot of frailties in her game still. And all it takes for her is a 10-minute lapse of concentration. You do that against Iga, she probably gets more than 5 games in that spell. She probably goes about 8 games in a row. And before you know it, you're down a set and a break in the next one. Because Iga can do that. She's a little bit more clinical than Sloane Stephens. But it was a tough match. Sloane Stephens played very well. We know she can play well. She got to the final of Roland Garros, I think, in 2018.
Yep.
But yeah, congratulations to Saba. And she's going to be favourite now from the bottom half to make the final. And it looks like all this talk of all these other players getting there, we could be getting the 1-2 on the women's, being the Iga and Saba.
Well, how crazy is it as well that we're now, Svitolina going through, obviously, not to go back to politics too much, but she's just gone through against a Russian. Now she's playing Sabalenka from Belarus in the quarterfinals now. So there's going to be even more news stuff coming around about that. And I feel like Svitolina has a real chance. If Saba plays like that, Svitolina's in great form. She would love if Saba can hand her a few games as well. Yep. So that one might not be as straightforward as some people think.
Yep. And back to the press conference. There's been some big news happening today, and that is she will not be doing any press conferences at all. She's going to be doing an interview with the WTA editorial reporter, and then it will be transcribed and distributed. So there's not going to be any video of her talking. A lot of this is because she's been asked a lot about the invasion in Ukraine. What do you make of it all? Has this been handled well?
I mean, I feel like it's I don't feel like the reporters should be asking these same questions over and over again. I know that they're just looking for clicks. I know that it's news and they want to just hear somebody from that country speak about it because that's what's going to sell newspapers or put headlines somewhere. But I feel like this is the way that if as long as Sabalenka's fulfilling actually doing some sort of press and she can do it in a way where you still get to find out her thoughts about the match and you get to find out all of the information of normal questions that get asked. And if there are any that they ask her from them, she doesn't have to answer them face to face with the media because then it can become a little bit more hostile because then there'll be follow-up questions. There can be, I don't know, maybe some tension in the room. Maybe that's an easier way of her answering questions because she could just say, oh, I don't want to answer that one. But
well, of course, it's up to her, and she needs to do what makes her feel safe. She said she felt unsafe in the press room. How I think it should be done is it should be made, all the press should be made aware in that room. We've been in the room, we know what it's like before she comes in. No questions on any politics. Okay? She then walks into the room, gets all the questions about the match. If anyone does break that, she should just get up and leave. But I think that's how it should be. I think she should have to do a press conference. I don't like the fact that players get out of these press conferences. You should, as a tennis player, we need it to sell the sport. It's important to hear a player's thoughts. There's so many diehard tennis fans who are really interested, and it's all part of the whole package of the event for me. It adds to the context. We wouldn't be doing this podcast if there was no press conferences.
What about another idea is, how about if, like, because players get punished if they don't do press conferences, don't they? What happens with the press? If the press break rules, they should be punished as well. Like you said, if you say do not bring up these things and they bring it up, then they should be punished by not being allowed in the press room or having a fine
or just ban them from the press room. They're not having in the room for the next any more matches in Roland Garros.
They get taken out instantly if they ask that question. That should be how it be. You're ejected from the press room.
I think it could be managed a little bit better. That's all I'm going to say on it. But let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.
Money talks.
Let's move on to the other matches, and then we're going to wrap it up because I know we're going over the time.
Oh, I've got the next.
So these are tomorrow's matches. We're going to be covering Iga for sure, and maybe some of the others as well. So Mukova, she beat Avanesian.
That's it.
We spoke about the others. Mertens, extreme bottle, complete bottle. I'm not going to go into it more than that. She's one of the biggest bottlers in tennis, and she proved it here today. She had that match wrapped up. Pavlyuchenkova, credit to her. She's a good player, but Mertens should have won. Hopefully, Pavlyuchenkova gets a wild card for Wimbledon as well because she is out of the seeding and wouldn't be able to get in automatically.
Yeah.
And on the men's, we spoke about all of these, but I'll let you have your final sound, Tsitsipas off now before we wrap it up.
Yeah. Just a shout out to Sebastian Offner, just in case he hears it, just to say, fantastic tournament. You had a really, really good tournament. This one just came up a little bit short. The first set, it was very close. He was up a break. He got broken back, and then it just couldn't get it over the line. I think Tsitsipas just used his experience just at the end of the set, and in the second set, just got the break. And then I feel like Offner was done, sadly. But good tournament, though. Good for Offner. Good for us. And best of luck for the next tournament. That's all I can say.
Yeah, my number one qualifier to watch has gone, but he made us proud, and yeah, incredible effort, mate. Well done, and we really enjoyed watching you. It kept us on the edge of our seats every day. We got the privilege of watching him. Made a lot of other matches interesting as well while watching him.
Up to number 80 in the world now, so congratulations.
Perfect. Let's wrap it up there. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on today's episode of What Happened at Roland Garros. We'll be doing another one tomorrow for sure, similar time. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let us know, are we going to be getting Djokovic, Alcaraz? That is the big one. It is hotting up right now. I'm going to be in Team Alcaraz. Ben's going to be in Team Djokovic because he's got him at the beginning of the tournament. And I'm secretly confident in my man. He looked outstanding today. But of course, this is Novak Djokovic. You can never write him off in a Grand Slam. Never.
Right. Anyway, let's wrap this one up. Put your score predictions as well for all of these matches we've just gone through in the comment section below, and join us for the matches tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got Iga. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow.